Now I think you can see me. Hello. Hi. Hello and welcome everybody to the Live Full Bloom series. I hope that wherever you are safe and you are sound. My name is Roxy Berger for those who don't know me. It's an absolute honor and pleasure to be here today. I think this is quite a unique situation for all of us. I don't think I've never done something like this before. Just as a way of introduction, let me tell you a little bit about myself for those who don't know me. I'm a TV host, I'm a businesswoman. My most recent work that you would possibly know me from is E-Entertainment's How Do I Look South Africa, which I think is the reason why I was asked to host, because I love fashion so much and it's something that I absolutely enjoy and love. And I have done many hours of live television presenting. When I started on KTV all those years ago, when I was a kid, we did many hours of live TV all the way up into my 20s when I hosted Strictly Come Dancing. But I have to say, I've never done anything like this. So it's exciting to be doing something for the first time, and I hope that you're as excited as I am. I think it's a strange time we're living in. I'm sure you will all agree with me that when somebody asked you, or if somebody had asked you what you'd be doing this year, and in April 2020 specifically, I very much doubt you thought you would be joining a web series because of what's happening around you. But it has provided us with quite a unique opportunity. And I think that's what's incredibly exciting about all of this. We are able to reconnect with ourselves. We're able to reconnect with friends, mentors, peers, digitally, obviously, and those that inspire us in a very unique way. And it's exactly what Bloom Gym Jen is wanting to do with us, and with this amazing series, this Live Full Bloom series. It's Bloom Gym. I must give you a little bit of a background. It's an amazing female-centered brand, and they truly believe that when women support women, we bloom, which I think is so absolutely fantastic. And it's what we're wanting to do today. Encourage one another and have some fun while doing so, and hopefully learning something along the way, which I'm pretty sure is going to happen today. So speaking of empowerment, I must just add that today's webinar is in collaboration with an amazing organization called Vintage with Love. They believe that all women should have equal opportunity to come into full bloom, which I think is such a beautiful thing to think of. And we'll be sharing how we can all assist them a little bit later on. But before we get there, I must just tell you a little bit about the polling that's going to be happening throughout the webinar over the next little while. So at the bottom, you'll see there's a little polling section. You can click on it. The first poll that we wanted to chat to you about was actually just finding out about you. So where are you? Where are you based? How old you are? So if you don't mind just filling it in, there you go. Tell us about yourself. What is your age? Where are you located? What is your occupation, your gender? So we'd love to know a little bit more about you. So please do let us know. Head to the polling section. And before we get to anything else, I think I should tell you what the agenda is for today. I know that you've obviously seen on social media who some of our speakers are, but let's take a look at the agenda today. It's going to be an amazing time. I think we're going to have lots and lots of fun, and we're going to be learning a hell of a lot. So let's take a look. I think the slides are coming. There you go. What's in store? This is what you can check out throughout the webinar over the next little while. The first person that we're going to be speaking to is Joanne Moore. Joanne is a master distiller. She is from Bloom Gin, and she has a very interesting story. It's going to be a good one. We're then going to be jumping ahead, and we're going to be chatting to Jacques Myberg about decluttering your wardrobe, which I think a lot of us have possibly been doing, but maybe you need a little bit of helps, tips, and tricks and all these good things, because it'll always go a long way. After that, we're going to be chatting to Carol Bauer. She is a very inspiring businesswoman and producer, all about styling classic pieces. And I think that styling a classic wardrobe is something that can stand the test of time. So I think that's going to be very, very interesting. We're also going to be chatting to author, she's a presenter, she's an actress, Leanne Durant, What Not to Throw Out. I think that's very, very important too. And we're going to be ending things off with the editor-in-chief of Glamour magazine, Nontando Mposo, styling for vintage pieces, sort of those retro looks and how to do that. I'm looking forward to all of those speakers over the next little while. But we're going to jump straight ahead, and we're going to be chatting to our very first speaker, Joanne Moore. She is the Bloom Master Distiller. Now, I must say, when I heard the words Master Distiller, I thought to myself, That is the coolest job title I think anybody could ever have, Joanne, because it just sounds so amazing. Like, I'm a master distiller. It sounds like so badass. And you're joining us from Warrington, England, where the distillery is actually based.
Yeah, hi.
Welcome. Thank you for being with us.
You're welcome. It's great. I can't believe we've got 138 people online at the moment. That's amazing.
Welcome to everyone. We're so happy to have you with us. So tell us, Joanne, how did you start out and where did it all begin and how did you end up as a Bloom Master Distiller?
Okay, so my career started back in 1996, and I know you're all going to be saying to your screen, no, she can't be that old, but seriously, I am. So my career started in 1996. I did a biochemistry degree at Manchester University, and I started working at the distillery in their quality control department. Throughout the role here, I started experimenting with botanicals and working with our previous head distiller, and just found a passion and a creativity for gin. And the only way I kind of describe it to people when I do master classes is suddenly you find that you have a love of music, and you suddenly find you're good at cooking. It's kind of that for me. I just found this skill for creating gin with botanicals, and it was just something that I really loved to do. So I then became the 7th master distiller in 2006 when Eric retired, and I took over as the master distiller for Quintessential Brands then. Throughout my last sort of 14 years as being master distiller, I'm the custodian for the Greenhalgh's gin, but then I've also gone on to create Bloom, which we're going to talk about today, and other lots of 4 other wonderful gins that we have in our portfolio. And all you can see on the slides there, I can't take total credit for it because I have a very good distillery team and other MPD guys that work alongside me, but we have won the Distiller of the Year 4 times in the last 5, which is a massive achievement. So we're all really pleased and proud about that.
That is phenomenal. Well done. Congratulations. And I mean, it's your baby, so it must feel so great.
Yeah, I often describe, before I had my son, I often describe Bloom and Berkeley Square and Opia as my babies. In fact, when I was pregnant with my son, there was a running joke in the office that, was I going to call my child Bloom or Berkeley Square or Opia? But no, he didn't get it.
I think it would have been a fabulously different name. I'm not going to lie. I think it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool. And why did you feel the need to create such a female-centric brand? Because Bloom is very much about women empowerment, and the message behind the brand is very specific.
Yeah, so normally when you're doing creative briefs, you'll normally get a creative brief. So somebody wants you to either they'll give you an idea, or they'll give you a benchmark or a style. And what was really unusual about Bloom is that there was no creative brief. I'd just been made master distiller, and I was given a blank piece of paper, and my task was to create a premium gin. And a massive task to do, quite scary, didn't kind of know where to go with it. But as like my first role officially as master distiller, this was going to be my first baby, the first one I wanted to do properly. So it'd always be a London dry. And I kind of just looked at flavours that were out in the market, see what other gins were doing. And I noticed there's a real gap for florals. And I was also acutely aware that a lot of people that said they didn't like gin, said they didn't really like that overpowering juniper smell. A lot of females didn't really like that kind of the strong camphor smell. So I wanted to create a gin that was light and floral, and that would lend itself better to a more female palate. So it kind of just came through using my imagination, looking at flavours that I liked, and it was always around this kind of vision of florals and citrus.
I love it. It's got a very distinct feel to it, and I think that's lovely. Yeah. It's very specific, which is great. And you actually have an all-female team with you in the UK, is that correct?
We do indeed. I mean, we do have quite a lot of the guys that work in the distillery, but they're on the Bloom team. There's myself, there's Elaine, and there's Abby.
That's phenomenal. And I'm sure that you've also been inspired by many entrepreneurs and female entrepreneurs in the past. I mean, who inspires you and who keeps pushing you forward?
It sounds a little bit cliche, but when I was growing up, the female that inspired me was my mother. She was quite a strong woman. She's in her 80s now, and she's in lockdown, and she's on her own. She's a widow, and she's coping really well. And I'm taking inspiration from her now. So when I have my moments over the last couple of weeks where I go, oh, I don't think I can cope with this, what am I going to do? I just talk to my mum, and she inspires me totally to kind of just stay strong, stay focused, take each day as it goes. So yeah, it sounds very cliche, but my mother's kind of been my mentor and, well, been my inspiration to be a strong, independent woman. And she always told me, you know, just be yourself, be true to yourself, and your talent will shine through. And also, you don't have to win every battle to win the war. Just take it. Choose your battles wisely.
That's amazing. If I had a glass of Bloom gin next to me, I would cheers your mom.
Well,
because there you go, please do. I think that's a phenomenal thing. I think a lot of us feel that way about our moms, and that's an amazing story. So thank you for sharing with us. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned your son. So you are a mom, you have a partner, you're running this business. I mean, the question that everybody wants the answer to, how do you balance it all? Like, how do you manage to just run this incredible brand and do everything that you're doing? It sounds like you lead a very busy life.
You need lots of gin and tonic.
That's okay. Listen, gin and tonic is a fantastic way to cope. If you need it, it's totally fine.
Yes, that's okay. But the other thing, and I think it's a skill set that most women, we all have, multitasking and being super organized, and just don't be too hard on yourself. We can't do everything. So just choose what you want to do and just concentrate on that.
I think that's fantastic advice. Very cool. Very cool. I wanted to ask you, because, you know, obviously the theme of what we're talking about today is decluttering. We're going to be trying to declutter. And I think a lot of people are decluttering their lives in general, because now we're finding that we're at home and we've got this time, and it's a time to reflect and look at the things around you. Are there any things that you struggle to part with specifically?
Shoes and coats.
Oh, there you go. I mean, listen, you live in the UK. You definitely need a good coat in the UK as well.
We do. I've got one behind me just here. So, you know, I was not sure whether to wear it, and I'm like, no, I'm okay, but I can't let them go, my shoes and my coats. I like coats and shoes for every occasion.
There you go. I wanted to ask you, you've been leading the Ginaissance, as we're calling it, globally, because I think that you've worked with some incredible different gin brands, and the sales continue to increase here in South Africa. We've definitely hit the gin train. It's a huge trend, and everybody loves a good gin. Do you think that this will be the choice spirits for a while to come?
I definitely think that gin has legs to continue, just because it's so versatile in its flavour profile. I mean, if we just touch this quickly on what the legal definition of gin is, it's only got to have juniper berries in there, and spirit and water. And then after that, you can do whatever you like. So you can put lots of different flavours in there. So I think because it's versatility and all the different flavours you can put in there, then it will expand, and it works really well in cocktails. I mean, my favourite cocktail to drink, Bloom, is a French 75, which is gin and bubbles. And I don't think, you know, any female would like gin and bubbles. So it's gin and champagne. So the gin and the bubbles there.
I love that. I don't think I've ever had gin and champagne. That's very interesting.
So you need to get yourself a French 75 after this webinar.
There you go. Well, listen, we're in lockdown and there ain't no bottle stores around that are open, unfortunately. But if there were, I would definitely do that. When this is over, that will be the first thing that I will head for, because it sounds delicious. It sounds delicious. And when is your favorite time to enjoy a gin? I mean, when do you ever have time to sit back, relax, kick back a bit?
We have a saying in the UK, and I know this saying goes different times for different countries, but in the UK, we always say it's 6 o'clock somewhere. So somewhere it's 6 o'clock. So I'm enjoying my day now.
I mean, I think I've heard it that it's midday somewhere, let alone 6 o'clock. So nonetheless, I wanted to find out for you, what's next for Bloom? What's the next chapter? What are you looking forward to?
So for Bloom, our next chapter is concentrating on the 2 keynotes that we have in the Bloom profile, which is it's always floral and fruit led. So it's floral and fruit fusion. So we're doing some limited editions where we're concentrating on those two key notes to kind of bring them out and be more playful with it and try and play in alongside the cocktail. It's a fruit infusion flavoured gins that we're going to be coming through with. But I always say that with anything that we do or anything that I like to create, that it should be mindful innovation. And what I mean by that is that just because there's flavour trends out there doesn't necessarily mean they lend themselves well to your brand or your flavour profile. So it's always about being mindful of what your flavour profile is or what your style is, and then making flavours work with that. It's like your wardrobe as well, you know, just because the fashion is on fashion for someone, it doesn't mean it's going to suit you.
That makes perfect sense. I love the fact that you brought it back to fashion, because then we can all kind of understand it, you know, in terms you know, as a distiller, it makes perfect sense. And some of the notes that you've got in Bloom are the chamomile, the honeysuckle, and the pomelo. Why did you particularly choose those botanicals for your gin?
So I started out what I call the Holy Trinity, which is our juniper, which has to be in there for legal definition. And then I've got some coriander seeds and angelica. And then the floral element came because you take inspiration from around what's around you. So either other flavors you like or places you've traveled. And I just love the smell and taste of chamomile tea. I drink a lot of herbal teas. So I knew chamomile would work in a gin. So I put chamomile as my first anchor floral note. And then the honeysuckle came because I wanted to use edible flowers. So because chamomile was an edible flower, I then chose, let's look at lots of other edible flowers. So I went through a raft of different edible flowers and worked out which paired well with chamomile. And the honeysuckle, which is an edible flower, paired really nicely with the chamomile, and that gives the sweetness in the gin. So the chamomile's doing the role of the floral notes, but the honeysuckle's doing the sweetness on the palate, and then the fruit kind of brings all together, which is the pomelo.
Very cool. I'm learning as I'm going. I'm sure everybody else who's watching is absolutely learning, because I didn't know that there was so much that went into it. Lastly, I wanted to ask you, how would you describe a Bloom girl, or a Bloom woman? Who is she? What is she about? What's her vibe?
I would describe her as being quietly confident. She's not brash. She's very much into sisterhood. She's very much about looking after her sisters, her females, and being supportive, and not being a bit of a cow, you know, just being supportive and nice to people, because, you know, people like to work with people that are nice, but being strong and knowing that you can challenge your colleagues or your friends, but know that it's constructive challenge and that you can stand your own ground, but you can also say what is right and what's wrong.
I love that. She sounds amazing. Thank you. And on that note, we're going to say goodbye for now. Thank you so much, Joanne. That was amazing. Thank you for giving us that insight into Bloom. It's a phenomenal brand. It's a phenomenal gin. We're so glad that you guys brought us here together today. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Yeah. Chat to you in a bit. We've got a couple of really cool clips to show you guys. Friends of Vintage with Love. Now, Vintage with Love is our collab partner who I told you about a little bit earlier. We're going to be telling you more about Vintage with Love in just a bit. But the person you're going to hear from now, she's a fashionista of note, a lady with impeccable style. Take a look at what former magazine editor Jackie Berger has to say.
Me. For me, it's always been about personal style and not just fashion. The pieces in your wardrobe are companions and not just fickle friends. Right now, we have this wonderful opportunity to really connect with ourselves and our wardrobes. And a very worthy exercise I would like to recommend is to take self-time and make 2 lists. The first list is a note to yourself. And what you do is you list everything in your current wardrobe that truly makes you happy. And you also define what it is about those items that make you truly happy. Once you've done that, you stick it in your wardrobe. And then you move on to making the second list. And that list will actually be all about the emotions that come to the fore, those emotions of lacking confidence, self-doubt, when you open your wardrobe and you have that "I've got nothing to wear" emotion attached to it. Because those are the items we buy that doesn't really resonate with who we are and how we feel about ourselves. So this might be the more difficult exercise when you sit down and list all those emotions. And once you have the two lists, they become your guideline going forward. So take this, go through your wardrobe and start separating items that really become you, your personal style, and brings you so much joy and gratitude, and then really remove everything from your wardrobe that brings self-doubt.
I love that. Thank you so much, Jackie. I think that's phenomenal advice. We're going, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be running a couple of polls throughout the webinar, and our next poll that we'd like you guys to take part in, please, asks the question: when was the last time you decluttered your wardrobe? The options are last week, last month, last year, or never. So post your vote there. I'd love to see the results and see what you guys are thinking. I think that a lot of people are decluttering at the moment, and that's the reason that we're asking that question, is because of our next speaker. Our next speaker is someone who took her love of fashion and did good with it, and did so much good with it. Vintage with Love is our event partner today. As I mentioned, we're very excited to be doing this with them. Please welcome Vintage with Love founder and former magazine editor, Jackie Myberg. Welcome, Jackie.
Hi, Roxy. Thanks so much for having me. As you said, this is a strange experience for us all. New times, new experiences.
It really, really is. But how cool. It's different. I mean, this is amazing. We're doing something extraordinary. It's exciting. It's fun. I've never done this. I think a lot of people have never done this. So I'm really enjoying myself, I must say.
No, absolutely. I think it's great for everyone.
Let's jump straight in. I wanted to find out more about Vintage with Love. So I actually know all about Vintage with Love. I've attended your events before. It's a fantastic initiative, but tell us where it all began, where it started, and why you started this organization.
Roxy, first of all, what I should have said, please can I say a big thank you to Bloom Gin to all of you for having done what you've done to make this webinar possible, to be part of the Live for Bloom launch, and for you to put all your time and effort and take behind making this webinar possible has just been amazing for Vintage with Love. When you hear the story, you'll know that this little charity really was started over a cup of coffee with a friend, and a plan to maybe have a secondhand clothing sale in a garage for charity has just grown and grown. And I think Lee, my partner in crime, Lee Ord, is also sitting somewhere watching this and thinking, gosh, how have we got here, and how have we got such fantastic partners? And we really are eternally indebted to Bloom Gin for making this possible. Because right now, especially with the current circumstances in this country, in the world, it's really all about communication and keeping the dream alive for us, that we keep everyone aware of Vintage with Love, keep everyone part of the story, keep everyone collecting clothes, and just waiting for things to change, to get back to a new normal where we can actually have our sale and raise money for charity. So let me answer your question and get back to the history of Vintage with Love. We started it all 8 years ago. Lee Ord, who's not here next to me because she sees a camera and she runs a mile, but she should be here because it was all thanks to her that it started. She called me and said she's got a cupboard full of clothes that she doesn't want or need anymore, but they don't belong on a jumble sale. Have I got any ideas? And I was in magazines and involved in fashion, and we hatched the idea of nothing original, but to have a sale of gently worn fashion versus a jumble sale, something that we hadn't really seen much of this in this country, of really good quality secondhand clothes that girls like you and me would love, couldn't always afford in their new state, but maybe secondhand they were still good enough to wear, and raise money for charity. Lee is a former school teacher. We both felt very strongly we wanted to develop something that could give back to society and do our bit, and so Vintage with Love was born. So we've had 7 sales so far. This year is due to be the 8th sale. We've raised close to 6 million rand so far, and all the money goes to literacy charities, organizations that train teachers, that teach children to read, that find children who aren't getting proper educations to give them proper educations. It's completely volunteer based. Everyone who works at Vintage does so out of the goodness of their own hearts. And the biggest thing is we rely on women around South Africa and men now to clear their wardrobes of all those clothes they don't want and to donate them to us. And those are the clothes we sort and mark and sell for charity.
So there it is. That's what we need to do for you. That's why we're decluttering today, so that we can give you gently worn clothing, secondhand clothing that you can sell on, and then empower other literacy charities.
Yep, that's what it's all about. It's the wonderful thing about Vintage is it's a win-win, because for a lot of women who want to clear their wardrobe and declutter, it's a fantastic opportunity to do that and to get rid of the clothes they don't want. And for women who really want to shop and buy beautiful clothes at fantastic prices, it's a fantastic thing for them. And for a lot of children and learners out there and students, it's a great opportunity to get much needed funds for literacy charities. So it really, it ticks so many boxes on so many different levels.
It's a brilliant concept. I mean, when I first heard about Vintage with Love, I was blown away. And on top of that, so not only are you helping other people, but when you come and shop at the sale, there are some phenomenal items that can be bought. I mean, people walk away with bags and bags of stuff. It's amazing. I'm looking forward to when lockdown is over so that we can come and shop.
I know, well, that's what we need, because I think hoping that everyone really responds to our call to action today to clear their wardrobes and do the declutter, that when lockdown is over, when we do start gathering again, that we can have the biggest sale ever. I mean, what's really important is we're talking about Vintage with Love Joburg, which is due to happen this year sometime, because last year, Vintage with Love Cape Town, who's run by our other fantastic leader, Debbie Smuts, shot the lights out and raised 1.6 million rand during a 3-day sale.
That's incredible. That's
so
amazing.
Lee and I are really bitter and twisted about that, and we're wanting to beat her record. So
okay,
Debbie,
so it's going to become a Joburg versus Cape Town vibe. I can see where this is going. We're going to get a bit competitive with this, and we're all going to try and raise as much money as possible, but I like that.
Yeah, so we're really hoping the Joburg ladies are going to start unpacking their cupboards, but we really are asking the Cape Town ladies also, and men, to start the decluttering and the sorting now, because we're constantly collecting. We don't stop collecting. My family's used to bags of clothes all over this house, because friends and family know now, if you don't want something, give it to Jackie, because it comes to Vintage. So we're always collecting.
I love that. Okay, so let's jump in. How do we declutter our wardrobes? Because I think it can be quite a daunting task. I remember watching Marie, it's Marie Kondo, am I right?
Marie Kondo, the Japanese.
That's right. And if it doesn't spark joy, then it must go. But I don't know whether or not that's what you think. So take us through some of the tips and tricks and how you think we should be decluttering our wardrobes.
Okay, let me give it my best bash. I've got some gin here, so that's gonna help us along the way. How's that French 75? I can't wait to try that.
I cannot wait. Listen, the bubbles and the gin are on my to-do list. When it's decluttering, giving all my stuff donate to Vintage with Love, and it's the bubbles.
The French 75. I love that. We're gonna try that soon. But okay, I am by no means a decluttering expert. What I have done in the last few days in preparing for this webinar is I've done a lot of research. I've watched a lot of videos. I've been surfing YouTube flat out to extract as many nuggets as I can about decluttering and what the important go-to tips are for clearing your wardrobe. So I really hope everyone gets something out of this. I intend to do this myself. So hopefully it will give everyone some kind of inspiration and some help. And Roxy, just jump in if you've got any questions as we go along.
I will do so.
I think what I really realized about the research that I've been doing is decluttering your wardrobe is not so much about chucking away the clothes you don't want, but it's actually about fine-tuning your personal style. I think once you've got rid of the noise and got rid of the clothes that you look at day in and day out and don't wear, and only are left with the clothes that you love and do wear, that your personal style gets identified. And that also leads to, when you go shopping, you know what to walk past. and you know what to buy and make fewer shopping mistakes. So that's what, after this research, I'm really looking forward to doing my own proper organization and decluttering, so that my personal style also gets a bit fine-tuned, and I don't have my schizophrenic moments when I think I might be something I'm not. So that's what I've deduced is quite an important part of doing this decluttering, in addition to donating to charity and taking out some of the things you don't love. Okay, so when you start doing it, the first thing to remember is this, as my friend Kirsten from So Sorted, who is a real decluttering expert, says, this is not about becoming a minimalist. We're not suggesting that you reduce your wardrobe to a 5-piece capsule and have almost no clothes left. It really is just about organizing and taking out the things that you don't.
Because that's become quite a trend, this capsule wardrobes. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how. I don't think I couldn't do it. I don't think I would be able to.
I don't think I could do it. I know a few people who live with a few colors and very, very pared down wardrobes, but I don't think it's real. I also can't do the Marie Kondo thing. So if you're waiting for me to find joy somewhere here, it's not going to happen. It's not
okay. It's not about sparking or not sparking joy. I get you. We're about living full bloom. So like, we're going to live full bloom. That's what we're doing.
We're living full bloom. We're drinking gin and we're looking at our clothes with our friends. The best way to approach decluttering is to do it twice a year, seasonally. As you go into the new season, it's time to think about new way of dressing and making sure that those old ones from last season are not going to stay if they haven't sparked joy or haven't been worn. So do it before winter, before summer. Importantly, also the best plan is to do a 2-step decluttering. So first do the sorting, where you take out the things you don't love and you keep the things you do. The organizing should be a second step, maybe not the same day. Putting things into colors or into categories, save that for another time, because if you try and do it all at once, it might be a mountain too high to climb. The next step is to work in categories. Work from shirts to pants to dresses to shoes. Don't try and do it all at once. It also will become too overwhelming and you might never finish it. So keep it simple, keep it in categories. Also, an important mental state, apparently, to keep when you're doing this decluttering is to keep it positive. Think about the things you are keeping. Don't think about the things that you're giving away, that you're discarding. So it's just a little point, but it is a way, just a mental approach to keep in mind. Also,
and I think that's a great tip, because we become emotionally attached to things. You know, I think, and as much as I love fashion, at the end of the day, it is just an item of clothing, and it's you kind of have to start distancing yourself. Otherwise, you're just going to have so much stuff, you know. And
exactly. And on that note, another important thing is when you've decided on something you don't want, is don't pass it on. Don't give it to your mum or to your friend or to your sister, because you're just making your problems theirs. It is the best thing is just put it in your Vintage with Love bag, and it will make someone else happy. But don't keep it in your zone, because it won't go away. So that's another tip.
That makes perfect sense. Like, don't make somebody else's problems. Yeah, your problem somebody else's.
Yeah. Okay, so now you're in your closet. We're not in my closet, by the way. We're actually in my kitchen. This is my grocery cupboard. I couldn't take you into my closet. It's just too chaotic. But I've got some of my favorites here. When you're starting, unpack everything. Take everything out of your closet. I'm sure you've seen this on YouTube. Put it all over your bed, all over your carpet. And while you're about it, give your cupboard a dust, because not often that cupboard's all emptied out. So give it a good clean. First thing you do is take your dead certs. The things you love, the things you saved for ages, those items that you ordered online from very far away, or that you just know you love. Put them straight back in the cupboard, because we've all got those, the ones that you know you're never going to live with.
Everyone's got their staples that they wear all the time. It's a good go-to, you know, this is it.
Exactly. So those ones you can put back. So then you're left with 2 piles. Then you're moving to 2 piles. The maybes, and you're going to then, from the maybes, take out the donates and the keeps. And what you do when you've got that pile of maybes, which is what haunts us all day long in our cupboard, is the following. First of all, you shout your closet That's the most mentioned term on YouTube when it comes to decluttering, is to shop your closet, is to take something in your cupboard and say, if I saw this in the shop today, would I buy it again? So for example, this top, I don't know if you guys can see it, just a very basic white sort of lacy boho top, which I bought on holiday because I needed some extra tops to wear over my shorts and cozy. And if I look at it now, would I buy it again? No, because I've made peace with the fact that I'm not a boho chick. I know it's actually not my style, and this is now going to vintage. And that's part of the identifying and making peace with my personal style, is knowing who I am and who I'm not. So while you shop your closet, you'll fine-tune that feeling. The other thing is
also looking at your impulse buying, because I guess we all do that, right? Impulse buying is a thing. You kind of go, you think, oh, this is in fashion, this is on trend, I'm just going to get it, you know, or I need something right now for this particular reason.
But does it have legs? Does it have, is it lasting? Not always.
100%.
The next thing is to plan outfits. So when you look at a piece of clothing, is to look at something like this leopard skin top, which is vintage, which I bought once on a vintage sale, and to say, how many outfits can I create using this piece? Would I wear it with, can I use it? So if you can plan 2 or 3 outfits with this item, and I know I will wear this with jeans, with leather pants, with a brown belt, that's my uniform, I know it can stay. So it will stay in my wardrobe because I can create outfits. The minute you have that struggle where I think, oh, I don't know what this goes with, it can go. And that's I have a love-hate relationship with color. I can't walk past it in a shop, but I can't wear it either. So I don't know what my problem is, but I know I have to give up color, and that's why that's going to go into the vintage pile.
Okay, so that purple blouse is not a versatile item for you, and it's not going to get worn, hence it's going to be donated.
It's in the vintage pile, yeah. Then the next one is the need versus love. We all know that there's certain things we need in our lives, like a black camisole, like a white shirt, like brown leather boots. Those are items that, they're not style items, but they're style staples, and put those straight back in, because you don't want to have to buy another pair of brown leather boots, so put the needs back in. Then the rest of the conversation is about the wants, about those things that whether you really, really want them or not, and that will help you to do a further clear. Then there are a couple of guilty mind games, the things about the clothes that still have tags on them. We all have those. We feel terribly guilty about buying them and never wearing them. Well, it's time to put that down and give those to vintage, because we'll get really good prices for the things that are brand new with tags on them. And if you haven't worn them yet, the chances are you won't. I'm sure you've got some of those, Roxy.
Yeah, I mean, we're all guilty of these things, let's be honest. It happens. I think you get busy, like I say, impulse buying or trend buying, or, you know, being a slave to fashion as per se. Yeah, we've all done that. I've done that. So yes, I will take that tip.
The other thing I'm sure we've all got in our cupboard are items that have got a stain on them, or a broken zip, or a missing button. And you think, I will get to fixing that. And if you haven't got to doing that in the last few months or year, chances are you're not going to. So also get rid of those, or put them in an action box. That's another tip from the YouTubers, is to have an action box where you put things that you really need to get dry cleaned, to repair, because you do want them back. As long as they're in the back of your cupboard, they're not going to get a second lease on life. And then finally, the tip that I think is a tricky one to navigate, but it does make sense, is those difficult clothes. I mean, those items we've all got items. I actually got this at Vintage with Love Cape Town. It's a beautiful little Valentino top, but I don't have the right underwear for it. And so I put it on, and it needs a very specific color underwear. I don't quite know what it needs, but I've got to work it out, and I haven't got round to it. And I think those items that you put on and you take off because they're just difficult, because the waist is too high, or it isn't a comfortable fit, but you still love the item, time to go, because you need to clear space. I think decluttering is all about clearing the deck so that you actually see what you've got and wear it.
No, that's all incredible advice. Thank you. No, I think everything you've said has been spot on. And the whole point of this is that we're all coming together all of us, to support Vintage with Love and declutter our wardrobe so that we can give you all these fashionable items and you guys can go and make that money for literacy charities. So thank you for all of that advice.
Pleasure. Thanks, Roxy, for the opportunity.
And I must just add, if you've got any questions for any of our speakers, there is a Q&A section at the bottom of the screen. I'd like you to please ask any questions that you have. We will have a Q&A session, and we're also going to be giving away and rewarding you for those questions. We've got 3 amazing Bloom gin hampers. So if you'd like to win one of those 3 hampers and be a lucky winner, then please do ask questions. We will be our speakers will be answering those questions, and you could possibly be a winner. So thank you so much. That was Jackie Myberg, everyone. Thank you very, very much. We've actually got another Vintage with Love friend who's going to be giving us some of her advice. She's a very well-known fashion writer and editor. She needs no introduction in fashion circles, that's for sure. And have a look at what Aspasia Karas has to say.
Planning to actually embark on cleansing your cupboard of all the extra stuff. The first is Marie Kondo. Just go for it. Take everything out, put it on your bed, and then don't take my example, which is leave it on the bed for a week, which is how long it took me to get the stuff back in. Just clap it. Go for it really quickly, because keeping the stuff on your bed could be very bad for familial relations, as you can imagine. And the second thing that I advise is color code it. So when I repacked after the Marie Kondo thing, I put everything in color coding, like all the colors of the rainbow, and that was really useful.
Amazing. I think that's some pretty fantastic advice. Thank you so, so much, Aspasia. Very, very cool. Don't forget that competition. Thank you. I see a couple of Q&As have been coming through, so thank you for those. We've also got another poll question. We want to know from you guys, what is your favorite classic item? A crisp white shirt, option number 1. Option 2, slick black pants. Option 3, a great pair of nude heels. Those are just some examples of classic items that you might find in a classic wardrobe. So what do you love? We want to know from you. And don't forget the hashtag, Live Full Bloom. That's exactly what we're doing today. Women supporting women, having a chat with other women, because when other women win, we all win. And that is definitely something that Bloom believe in. So we want to share that today with you. Now, our next speaker is a face that you'll definitely recognize. She's a businesswoman, she's a producer, she's a philanthropist, and I would like to add fashion icon to the mix, because I know that Carol Bauer definitely knows how to dress it up. She looks amazing all the time. Carol, would you accept that statement if I said that you are a fashion icon?
I think it's very, very kind. However, I welcome it. I really do. How are you, Roxy?
I'm so, so good. We're good. Thank you so much for joining us. It really is an honor to have you with us. I mean, look how fabulous you look. How can you not say, look at you?
I chose to sit outside. I'm regretting it. I almost want to bring out an umbrella, but it's too heavy for me.
Warm in the sun, but listen, we don't mind a little bit of sunshine, so let's not complain.
Love it.
I want to ask you, how would you describe your personal style?
I think that I dress first and foremost for comfort, but I do that with the understanding that comfort doesn't mean you have to be clumsy. I feel that I go the extra effort to put myself together in a manner that is professional, in a manner that really speaks to my signature. So there's still a sense of fun, but I'm highly driven. So the outfit itself will always speak to how determined I am.
I love that. That's very cool. And what do you consider a classic item? So how do I identify what is a classic piece of clothing or a classic fashion item?
So I think that, Roxy, you'll agree, I'm a little predictable. So classic for me, it means try not to wear makeup on your neck because you're likely to be wearing a white shirt, right?
I get that.
Yeah, and I think classic is also just trying not to wear too much color because it doesn't work for me. So I wear a lot of black and white, and a lot of nudes, only because I think that I have a very difficult skin tone. I'm one color in summer and one color in winter. So I need to be wearing stuff that works for whatever season I'm in. But also I need to find ways to feel good in my clothes. So if your wardrobe is very monotone, such as what mine is, then the feel good items, it's bringing in pieces of jewelry, inexpensive, but that are colorful stones. And that's where I bring in a little bit of what I think is my personality. I think I'm very warm, but at the same time, because my style is so classic, I have to find places to go for a bit of fun. So it's scarves.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the scarves you'll never see on my neck. It's very difficult for me to wear it on the neck. So I adorn my bags with scarves.
Oh, I love that. Adorn your bag. I love it. I love a bag that's adorned.
All bags should be adorned. We make them beautifully. I think I designed the most beautiful, beautiful classical bags, but they're all highly, highly colorful because they help me enhance my outfits. But they also want to be dressed up, so hence the adornment.
I love that. So you've answered my question about individuality, because I think sometimes people would say that a classic wardrobe can be sort of quite one note, one palette, the same look and feel. So how do I spice it up a little bit if I do want to still have some individual style and some individual personality come through? And you've mentioned pops of color, you're adorning your bags, and I assume that those are the sorts of ways that you do that.
Those are the sorts of ways that I do that. But I also think that there's a sense of fun in how you dress as well. You could try and be formal in your. Is that your gin that you're having, darling? Cheers.
Oh no, I don't have a gin with me. I didn't get to the store in time before lockdown. Fail.
We shall bloom. But I think also, just because you're a classic dresser doesn't mean you have to be dowdy. I mean, I wear predominantly pajamas wherever I go, when I travel, on holiday. And I dress them up. So you will see me in classified PJs, not things that I wear as PJs, clothes that are pajamas, but I wear them with high heels. I wear them with...
I think the word that you're looking for is loungewear.
It is not loungewear, darling. I do buy loungewear as well, but I am so tired of it.
Pretending that's what you're going with.
I put together a good look, and I think that people should be unapologetic about wanting to be dressed how they wish. I mean, the gentleman who ran Playboy, which I shouldn't know being a feminist, Hugh Hefner, he used to look amazing every day, and it was just one look. It was his gown and pajamas. So if he could do it, we should be able to do it.
I love that. Do you think that we can achieve a classic look or a classic wardrobe on a budget? Because I think sometimes people are afraid with these sort of like classic staple items that I have to spend more money in order to achieve this. And do you think I can do it on a budget?
So I think the unfortunate thing about what the world was becoming, and I will say that I'm very grateful that we've had this time. It's terrible that coronavirus has forced us into a place where we have to reflect. But I'm grateful for the time to reflect, because I think that we had become mindless consumers. We had become the kind of consumers that are not conscientious, not aware of how we're affecting others. And we were putting we're putting pressure on others to live up to a standard that was highly unsustainable, highly unattainable for many. And this allows us to go back to thinking our purchases through, thinking about what we're communicating with our wardrobes. I have great fun with clothes. I am unapologetic about the fact that I work hard and I try and reward myself, but I'm not mindless. It will not just be labels all the time. You should be able to wear whatever you like from wherever it cometh. It should be about the item and not about where it comes from, not the label on the item. I mean, I'm wearing a tutu for you now, which I got in a secondhand store. Can you see it?
You look amazing. I love that.
Secondhand store in Paris, huh?
love.
It doesn't help my argument to mention the Paris, but the point is, you shouldn't be too good for anything. There shouldn't be a store that you feel that you are superior to, and I hope that what will come out of this is a community of people who've begun to reflect about how their consumption of fashion affects the world and how it affects others around them.
I think that's amazing. I think that our decisions have to become more conscious. I think we have to think about it more. I think the world has changed in a good way. The world has changed because we do need to think about others.
Absolutely. And it's painful that we've had to have loss of life to get to a point where we begin to think about things that really matter. But it is fundamental that we come out of this a different community of consumers.
Absolutely.
And hopefully
Okay,
of creators too.
Indeed, that is true.
Yeah.
That is very, very true.
Yeah.
I want to ask about the items of clothing that you're going to donate, because I see there's a couple of things hanging behind you. So is this a preview?
Well, this is a little preview. The most significant items that I'm going to donate are not here, but I've decided to bring out.
This is exciting. It's like we're in Carol Bauer's wardrobe, everybody.
On my patio.
Have it though.
You know, I just think I love a shirt dress. I am a sucker for a shirt dress, and I think this is a beautiful one that you can wear casually with sneakers or dress up with high heels. It's absolutely beautiful. I only ever wore it once, and I think that someone else can enjoy it. There's another one here. It's a South African label. This Poetry. I think they make beautiful, beautiful clothes. In fact, we should approach them, Jackie, for them to donate as well to Vintage with Love. I'm sure they have stuff. But this is
That's a great idea. We'll put some pressure.
We should. And I have no idea how many of these dresses from cost. I mean, I live in these dresses. Just a very classic A-line dress, and it's very flattering. A shift with a difference. That's what I call them. And then there's some evening dresses. Everyone knows my love of Carolina Herrera. This dress I've been hanging on to because the last time I saw Mama Winnie Mandela, I was wearing it, and we have a beautiful picture. And I just think that perhaps Jackie can do something far more intelligent than what I'm doing with it, which is to just make it hang in the wardrobe.
I love that you're actually letting go of that, because that's something with a very sentimental memory behind it. I mean, that is super sentimental, but you're donating it and it'll give somebody else joy.
So how I choose to declutter is to let go of things that have memories that, could either trigger tears. I loved her dearly, and I think that how I'd like to hold on to her is through her literature. There's so many books that talk about Mama Winnie, but I don't have to hang on to the clothes just because I'm trying to hang on to her memory. And then there are things that are negative, that are not as positive as that. Clothes that you wore when you had an accident. I had a famous accident 2 years ago. Things that you wore when you tripped and fell, or something that you're not happy to remember. I'm letting go of all of those. Over and above that, last year at Vintage with Love, I bought, I think, about 10 wedding dresses, which I was going to donate to various people. And I just never got around to giving them away. So now I think that this is the time to donate them. So those dresses are coming back to be re-auctioned or resold.
Very nice. 10 lovely brides. I think will be very, very happy to hear that. So thank you, Carol. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you for sharing all that insight with us. I appreciate it so.
Thank you very, very much. And lovely, lovely chatting to you. Have fun. Cheers. Bye, Roxy.
Awesome. We'll see you in a bit. If there's any Q&As that want to come through, don't forget the Q&A box at the bottom. Everybody will answering questions, and you can, of course, win one of those 3 Bloom vouchers. And I think what we're doing today is so phenomenal. We're essentially paying it forward, because when we smile, when we conquer, when we laugh, when women support women, I think we all live in full bloom, and we all come into full bloom, and it's such a wonderful thing that we're doing today with Bloom Gin. So thank you again for joining us, and I'm going to jump to our next speaker. She needs no introduction. I've known this lady for a very long time. She's somebody that I look up to. She's a presenter. She's an actress. She is a speaker. She's just amazing, and an author, I might add. Leandri Durant, thank you for joining us, and hello.
Hi, Roxy. How are you?
So
Can you hear me?
good. So good.
Awesome. I love listening to all of you guys. I got some great tips myself. And I'm excited to go shop again at Vintage with Love. You said that you've shopped at one of their beautiful days. I've also done that. And I also walked away with, too many clothes. But what a great initiative. And it's so nice to be a part of this.
It is an amazing thing. I actually just want to quickly remind people of our poll question that's related to what you're going to be talking about. We want to ask, which item would you never ever throw out? Because Leandra's going to be taking us through this topic. Would it be your favorite jeans, your favorite leggings, your favorite slippers, or I'm not attached to clothing like that? And the clincher is no matter how old. So we've all been there where we've got something that might be a little bit holy, and you still just want to hang on to it. So vote in that poll and tell us what you think. But Leandy, I'm going to hand over to you. You're going to take us through this topic, and I know that we're going to love what you got to say. So take it away.
Thank you. Hi, everyone watching at home. It's such an honor for me to be a part of this. I'm really, really excited. So for me, it's not really about what do I not throw out or what do I throw out. For me, I go through certain steps when I take the time that I have like now in lockdown to get rid of stuff in my closet. And I've got like 5 steps that I usually go through. And the first one is that I ask myself, if I look at this item that I want to throw out, will I buy it right this instant? Like if I was at the shop, will I still buy it today? Will I spend 500 Rand, 100 Rand, 800 Rand, whatever you paid for it? Will I spend that money again on this item? If not, then it shouldn't be in your closet anymore. Someone else can use it. Someone else can wear it and feel good about themselves. So that should definitely go then. So the second question then is, and I've seen Jackie also touched on how clothes make you feel, and there's someone else that brought up the KonMari method. And Marie Kondo she's got such a great book, and go follow her on Instagram, ways of like decluttering and making your life and your closet neat. And the one thing that I've learned from her is to not keep stuff in my closet that doesn't spark joy with me. So if I look at an item and I don't like the memory that's associated with the item, I don't like the way it makes me feel, it needs to go. Because maybe it can bring joy to someone else, because they wouldn't have a bad memory of it or whatever. Can everyone still hear me? Because it feels like, I don't know. Roxy? I've lost Roxy.
We can
anyway.
We can hear. We can hear you.
You can. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it's because of the storm now. I can see it's like pitch black outside. I'm very scared to look outside. Okay, so I'm going to move on to my third, the third step that I take then is, must I chuck the item or must I keep it, is in the past 6 months, have I worn it? And in the past 6 months, we've been through autumn, summer, spring, and a bit of winter. So 6 months for me is a long time or enough time to actually realistically judge, is this item still serving me? Do I actually want to wear it? And if you haven't worn it for 6 months, then I really think you should get rid of it. If you are not sure about something, I think maybe create like a basket or one drawer in your home where if you're not sure about the item, keep it there for another 2 months. And if you still haven't worn it in 2 months, then you know it definitely needs to go. Okay, and then the fourth thing I do is I create like, I pretend like my closet is on display. Like someone's going to come in and they have to like shop from my closet. Because then it helps me to create a beautiful closet, a beautiful display. I put stuff together that's similar colors, similar styles, all the shirts together, all the jackets together, all the long dresses together, the short dresses together. Because then for me, every morning when I open my closet and I want to get dressed, I'm so excited, like I feel like, whoa, what am I going to wear today? It feels like you're at the shops, at the shopping mall. And I find that really helps. And if there's an item that you don't find any place for, it doesn't look nice, then you shouldn't have it. You must chuck it. Okay, and then that brings me to point number 5, which for me is a very special step. Because last year I got divorced, I went through some bad stuff and I had to move places, and I realized that a lot of the clothes that I have, it's from the old me, the old phase of my life, And if you go through stages in life where you change, where you go through heartache, and you have items that, you know, make you think about that time, get rid of it. Give it to someone else. Blaze the pieces and donate it to Vintage with Love, and someone else can get joy from it because you don't necessarily like it anymore, but you don't like what it reminds you of. So get rid of the old you, even though it can be a brand new dress. But if you don't like the memory that's attached to it, once again, it represents the old you, different style. Get rid of it. Give it to someone that can use it. And Vintage with Love can sell it and make money from it. And then lastly, I just want to add something that's really helped me, because I love shopping, and I know a lot of girls love to shop. But then it's just like we're accumulating, you know, and it's really not good to just keep on accumulating. So I have a rule now, an unspoken rule in my home, that for everything I buy and I bring home, I have to give something away. It doesn't have to be, if I bought a dress, I have to give a dress away. I can give shoes away, or I can give a scarf away. But for every one item that I purchase and I bring home, I have to give another one away. And that's how you keep on recycling, and you make sure that you don't just get more and more stuff, and yeah, you forget to actually donate some of it. That is all my tips. Yeah.
I think I love the giving it, that element of I've got something now, I must get, you know, like let go of something. I like that, because it's kind of this reciprocal relationship, and it's just like, it's kind of this continuous thing.
Yes, exactly. And it really, really works. Like before now, when I'm at a shop and before I actually go and I pay for the item, I already ask myself, do I have something that I'm going to give away to get this item? And do I already know what it is? Because if I'm not willing to go home and give something away to have this item, then I shouldn't buy this item, because I don't actually need it.
I love that. Fantastic advice. Thank you, Leandi. Thank you so, so much. I think you're helping us make sure that every day we #live full bloom, and all of those elements we can put together and go forward and conquer.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank
Roxy. You're a brilliant host.
Thank you. And if you've got any more questions, send them through. There were a couple. We'll be answering those at the end. Don't forget, we've got those 3 hampers that we want to give away. They're going to be amazing. It's those 3 Bloom Gin hampers. We want to share them with the sisterhood that's with us. We want to share it with all these fierce ladies. So make sure you ask those questions. There's some great ones coming through, and we will be trying to answer as many of them as possible. Our next speaker, and she, I think this is also one of the coolest jobs you could possibly have. I think a lot of pressure, but very, very cool. She's recently taken over one of SA's leading publications. Please welcome Nontando Mphoso. She is now the editor-in-chief at Glamour magazine. How you doing?
Hi, Roxy. Thank you for having me. You look amazing.
Hi. Thank you. This is a lockdown look, so I had limited resources at the moment, but I appreciate the comments. So thank you so much. You look phenomenal too. And you're going to be taking us through a little bit of trend, what we can look forward to this autumn, winter, what's going to be happening, what's come off the runways, and what we could be expecting to possibly put into our wardrobes this season.
Yes. And even though we entering autumn, winter, I love color. So I still wear color. I wear color right through the year. So it might not look like it's autumn, winter color, but now is a good time to just brighten up your year.
Very cool. I think I agree with you. Sometimes when people think of autumn, winter, they're like, oh no, I must now wear black and brown and muted tones. And that's so not the vibe. Like, I get you. Pops of color can bring a smile to your face all seasons.
Definitely.
So what are some of the key trends that we need to be looking out for?
Okay, I'm just waiting for the slide to come on screen.
There you go.
Okay, so these are my key pieces that I will be getting for winter. First of all, you need a chic scarf. And try to look for a unique scarf with different patterns and different textures, you know, to add a unique look to whatever outfit you're wearing. And my second piece is leather gloves or faux gloves, if you may. They come in different colors. I prefer these than wearing like wool, because these just look very chic with just about any outfit. And my third piece, this is like the sexy statement piece,
your knee length boots. I have one exactly like this in red that I can dress up, I can dress down, I can wear it clubbing, I can wear it to the office. They're just so fierce and out there. So this is definitely a look that I'm looking forward to rocking for this season.
I have a question about knee-length boots. I mean, the one thing that I do find with a boot is height is important, because I'm on the shorter end of life. So I often find that when I'm trying on boots, whether they're knee-length boots, whether they're thigh-high, whether they're ankle boots, whatever it might be, sometimes they might cut me in the wrong place. What advice do you have for someone when they're actually shopping for boots?
So Roxy, you have options. You can either go for like a heel, a heel size boot, or you can go for a sock boot. The fit is much the same as your knee-high boots, but it just fits for a shorter person.
Okay, I understand that. So I guess we just have to try and like customize to your particular height.
Yeah, and the thing about with fashion is go with what works for you, with what works for your body type, for what works for your personality. So make it work for you. This is just suggestions that you can follow.
For sure. Oh, I like what we're seeing on the screen now, a non-traditional poncho. I mean, what do you mean by a non-traditional poncho? Take us through that.
Because, you know, if you say poncho, a lot of people will think a knitted, granny-looking poncho. But ponchos, yeah, but ponchos these days come in these very chic styles and beautiful cuts with beautiful detailings and colors. So like this is so minimalist. It just works over this cute dress that she's working. And it's so girly and flirty, but still very elegant. I have this really nice sparkly poncho that I wear like right through the year. Whenever I wear it, it's like everybody wants to know, where did you get that? So go for your non-traditional poncho and just dress it up according to your personality.
Don't you love those items? The items where people ask, oh, where did you get it repeatedly? Then you know you've done something right.
Yeah, definitely. And lastly, you all need a bold coat. Something that's cozy for winter. Like this is like a nice, snuggly winter coat. It's luxurious and it looks like it feels very soft. So get something that's huggable, that will hug your body and just make you feel warm. It is the cold months after all.
Absolutely. I think that a bold coat sounds like a fantastic idea. And then I see we've got a last one, a woolly hat.
Yeah. These hats, they look like something that my granny used to make. So this is kind of like vintage. It's a throwback from like your 60s, your 50s. But look at how cool it is now because it's in different textures that you wouldn't expect.
I love it. I mean, it looks super, super chic. Oh, repurposing clothing. I think that this is a topic that we've kind of been touching on all afternoon, but what advice do you have for us here?
Okay, so for me, how I declutter my closet, besides giving my clothes away to my friends, to my sisters, or to my nieces, I like what Jackie said earlier on. For me, it's about fine-tuning my personal style. So before the start of every season, I look at the key items that I have, and I look at how I can just create a different item or a different look by that item. Which means you save a lot on money because you don't have to spend, on a new wardrobe. So what I have here is this dress that doesn't fit me anymore. And I created those pants and a bucket hat for my 1-year-old son.
That is phenomenal. Oh my gosh, look how cute. I'm dying at the cuteness. That's amazing. You're incredibly talented if you're able to do that, because over here, I ain't got no project skills, girl. So like that's not going to happen in my life. But if I need something, can I get your skills maybe? Could you maybe help us out over here?
Just give me like a lot of time in advance, because obviously it takes a bit of time. But you can create almost like fun items from your old clothing that you don't need anymore, and create new pieces.
I love that. That's very, very cool. Thank you so, so much. Anything else you want to add?
Oh yeah, and the coats that I'm wearing, I'm not sure if you can see me. So I created these coats from just like the different dresses that I had in my closet. So it's like a patched up coat.
That is phenomenal.
Thank you.
A woman of so many talents. I'm so incredibly impressed and jealous all at the same time.
I love clothes, so I love being creative with clothes. Thank you so much for having me, Roxy. And thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Nontando. I know we've got a whole bunch of questions coming up in the Q&A, and I'm going to be posing them to everybody. So I think we might all jump into the Q&A all together, and then I can address these questions to different people. I think that Jackie wanted to possibly add just one more tip from her side. And Jackie, there were actually quite a couple of questions that people were asking just about the nitty-gritty information and details in terms of donating and which items they can and can't donate and all these good things. But let me quickly jump into the Q&A section over here. Jackie, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Roxy?
I can hear you. Yes, I can. So you wanted to add a tip quickly. Do you want to chat to us about that?
Roxy, I've just been following some of the questions on the chat and answering some of the questions while you've been chatting to the others. And one of the questions that's coming up from quite a few people is what to do with special occasion clothes that clutter up your wardrobe. And it's actually something I came across as well in quite a few YouTube videos, is the idea of creating special boxes for things like your beach wear, for bikinis and kaftans and slip-slops, or for your camping gear, which for those of us who've got that, for your khakis and hiking boots and jackets, those warm jackets that you use if you go hiking or camping, and even for special occasion wear, the sequin dresses or the evening dresses that you don't wear every day. Put that into special occasion boxes, store them on top of your cupboard or in a storeroom to clear the decks a bit in your everyday wardrobe. Then when you come to a beach holiday or a camping holiday, you'll have a pleasant surprise when you re-meet that lovely wardrobe, and in the process clear the decks a bit so you can see what you want to wear every day. It's just a really small little tip, but I think it makes quite a bit of sense.
Thank you.
I love that. I think that's very, very cool. Thank you so much, Jackie. I like that. Maybe I'm just going to jump into another question that came through specifically for the sale. People are asking, does it have to be labels and designer wear that can be donated? What is the criteria for the clothing when people are sorting and decluttering their wardrobe? So what's some do's and don'ts maybe?
Roxy, the only real criteria is for good quality clothing in terms of its condition. So I know there is a perception that we're only looking for designer clothes, and we're not. We do welcome it, and we have got some amazing donors who do give us lovely designer items, and that's what makes the sale a really great treasure hunt, because you will be going through Zara and H&M and you'll come across a Gucci item or that kind of thing. So while we welcome any designer donations, that is not exclusively what we're looking for. So it really is any high street fashion brands that's in good condition, something that you could see yourself buying again. But the most important message is, if in doubt, donate, because we've got an amazing team of volunteers that do all the sorting. So we go through every single bag of donations that we've got, and we sort what we can sell and then what we can't sell, which is what is more jumble. We then donate to charity. So nothing goes out of the system. It all goes to a good cause.
Okay, perfect. Somebody in Durban was asking, how do they get their clothing to you guys?
Roxy, we've got challenges in getting things around. We have got some partners who do help us sometimes with moving things around, but we'll make a plan. It really is important for us to just get as many clothes as we want. So what I'd like to ask everyone is, if they have clothes to donate, please contact us through Facebook or Instagram via direct messages, or email us. Our email address is on the website, info@vintagewithlove.co.za, and we will make a plan to get those clothes. They're always friends or family traveling. We can get hold of it. We'll make a plan. So just contact us and we'll make arrangements.
Okay, great. That's perfect. So follow Vintage with Love on Instagram, follow Vintage on Love on Facebook, and you can also follow Bloom on all of those platforms as well. They're also going to be updating because obviously with COVID-19, we're pretty much like, you know, seeing how things go. We're not too sure when the sales are going to be happening. So just follow those accounts on social media, and both those accounts will be updating information as we go. We had a great question from Monique for Nontando. Nontando, are you there? She wants to know, how would you wear an oversized knitted scarf? I have an incredible one, but I can never match it with something to make it look good. So I guess the question kind of comes back to, when you see something that's trendy and in fashion, how do you make sure that it's good for me as a person? Oh, shame, Nontando. I think Nontando's got a baby crying in the... Oh, sorry. Mom life.
Mom life is real.
We all know what it's like, Mom life. And like, you know, Murphy's Law, I come and ask you a question just at the wrong moment. I'm so sorry.
So what was the question? How do you wear an oversized scarf?
Yes, so Monique was asking, how would you wear an oversized scarf? I have an incredible one, but I can never match it with something that makes it look good.
I think it depends on what color it is. I have quite a chunky, oversized, rainbow colored scarf. So it works with just about everything. I can wear it with a dark color, black, nude, white. I would suggest just use it as a statement piece. Just keep your outfit very simple, and then the scarf will just be that pop in your outfit.
Okay, love that. Thank you. Great answer. Leandy, I've got a question for Leandy here. Leandy Celeste wants to know, once you've decluttered and you're trying to get your wardrobe right, is it best to go shopping for specific items for your wardrobe? So like you've got a goal in mind, or should we just go shopping and see what's out there?
Well, I would say, thank you for the question. Once again, it really depends on what day it is and what you feel like. I think the number one thing is that you should never go shopping if you don't feel like it. And it's, I mean, because sometimes I walk in the shops and I really see something that stands out for me, and then like, should I not? Then I go home and I literally can't sleep because I keep on thinking about the item. You know, that's the kind of item you have to go back for and go buy it. But then there's stuff where you're at the shop and you're like, oh, I have to come and buy black pants today because I need one. But if you don't find one that you like, don't get it. You know, like rather Google and Pinterest substitute for a black pant. If there's an outfit you've been planning for, but now you don't have that, you can Google, use Pinterest, you know, for some inspiration. That's where I get a lot of my outfit inspirations, from Pinterest. But my main answer is never do something if you don't feel like it. But there's no rules. You can go shop for something specific. You can just shop because you feel like it. There's no rules. Just make sure you don't have stuff you don't need, because there's someone that can really do with it.
I love that. Thank you. Geraldine had another question for you. You've partially answered, where do you get your fashion inspo from? So are there any celebrities or other or peers that you love their fashion? I mean, you've got your own clothing label, so, and I've purchased stuff from you because I love yours.
Thank you, Roxy.
So tell us about your fashion inspiration.
My label is a bit on a production break due to everything that's going on, and yeah. So, but I love vintage inspiration from. Sorry, my AirPods just went on. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I get a lot of inspiration from old patterns. My mom left me like suitcases full of old patterns, and the pictures at the front is so beautiful, like the dresses. So if it's a dress that I can't get because it's vintage, I will literally ask my dressmaker or a lady that I know to make it for me. You know, I go to the material shop, I buy it, and then I get someone to make it for me. But coming from, I really Pinterest, I put in New York street style, Europe street style, Paris street style. That's this kind of stuff. And then I follow people like Amin Bing. I follow people like Victoria Beckham. I used to be more bohemian, more colorful. But as I said, I went through a dark phase in my life last year. And it's really brought out another phase inside of me where I started becoming more simplistic and more like plain colors. To that, I decided to wear yellow because I wanted the bloom and the, you know, just to brighten us up. But usually I don't wear colors like this. I've started wearing more bland colors and more. So then I will literally type in the stuff that I want to wear. I want to wear nude colors. I want to wear plain lines. I want to wear, then I will type that into Pinterest and there will come up so many inspirational pictures. And that's my main go-to. Yeah.
I love that. Very quickly, Marley wants to know, what is your favorite piece of clothing? Like, do you have one fave?
Oh, that is so difficult for me. My 80s inspired Zara denim jacket. Must be that.
Ooh, that's a great answer. Like a
People
retro.
can go check on my Instagram. I literally did a video this morning in that jacket that I love so much of how to make a homemade mask with a scarf or a handkerchief. If you're not able to get a mask now and you have to go grocery shopping and you really want to like wear a mask, then you can look stylish while doing it and make one out of a scarf, a headscarf or a handkerchief. They can go look at my video. It's on my Insta.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you so much, Leandy. I now have a question for Carol. Is Carol still with us? Vilna was wanting to know from Carol, have I got the right question? Hold on a second. Oh, this one was from Karen. Sorry. Karen was wanting to know, what are the 3 classic non-negotiables a great wardrobe should have? So 3 items.
So it would definitely be a classic white shirt. I think that every wardrobe needs a solid black jacket, which can double, you can use it in the evening, but also for day. So having crossover outfits, I think that's what you want to do. You want outfits that allow you to save. So it must have multiple functions. And nothing beats beautiful nude stilettos.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah. I think obviously with our skin tone, it's difficult to determine what is nude, but I think those 3 are must-haves.
The one great thing I think a lot of fashion retailers are starting to do is they're starting to have multiple shades of nude. So nude is not just one shade. Nude, because mine and your nude are 2 different nudes. So I think fashion's starting to catch up on diversity, thankfully, and we can find those items now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think the big thing also, as much as we're talking about what to collect, I think what we want to communicate as well is please find it as easy as possible to let go. I'm Cancerian and we are hoarders, and it's a big thing to teach yourself to let go of items for whatever reason, but just think about the people that can benefit from what you donate. So let's encourage as many people as possible to do precisely that.
Exactly. For vintage with love. I completely
Absolutely.
agree. We want to pay it forward, live full bloom, and do all these fantastic things. I've got another question here from Vilna, and I mean, this is just a question that I think any woman has on their minds, and they would want to. Anybody could answer, but Carol, maybe you can assist. If you, like me, have gained weight, which I think all of us have gained weight at some stage in our lives, how long do you think I should hang on to my thin clothes for? So, like, you know, we always kind of keep items that I'll fit into them one day. How long do we hold on?
So, I mean, I've been known to hold on to things for even over a year, thinking that I can push the weight. So in the last 4 weeks of being at home, I've put on quite a bit. And I've already started looking at what needs to go, because I know I won't be able to shift it quickly. If you haven't lost the weight in 3 months, put it in the maybe. If you haven't lost the weight in 6 months, it's time to let it go. Let it go, okay. Embrace you, love yourself as you are. I think we've put so much pressure on ourselves to look a certain way, and I'm hoping that we've evolved now over the last couple of weeks to begin to realize perhaps something else is far more important than how we look. So hopefully, I'm not going to be as hard on myself as I've been in the past about the weight that I've put on in the last 4 weeks.
I think that we all need to be kind to ourselves, especially at the moment. I think it's very
kind
important.
to ourselves, kind to one another. I mean, I've been known to complain about people coming up to you and say, "Oh my goodness, you've put on so much weight." So I'm hoping how we greet each other now is not, "Oh my goodness, you've put on weight," but it's more, "Oh my word, aren't we lucky that we've survived this? Aren't we lucky that we've come out alive from this period?"
Oh, you're looking so healthy and you're looking so happy.
You know, absolutely, absolutely. I think that this has been such a big lesson to all of us.
Stunning. Thank you so much, Carol. We do have one more poll that we'd like you guys to please take part in. So if you click on the polling at the bottom, we want to find out what you're looking forward to in terms of what would you like to see from our next series, our Live Full Bloom webinar. And we're very excited because there is going to be a next webinar coming to you very, very soon. So answer these questions. Which favorite fashion brands rather would you love to see participate in our virtual series? Which South African celebrities or influencers do you want to see at our next virtual series or workshop? And what time slots would you prefer? Because we want to obviously make this convenient for everybody so that as many people as possible can join us and then we can live full bloom. That's what we're all about. I wanted to ask Joanne, is Joanne still with us? Joanne, our master distiller and the creator of Bloom Gin, because I mean,
yeah,
it's just, are you there, Joanne?
Yes.
Awesome. We had a question. Somebody was asking about the mixology of gin, and they were asking about, you know, the staple is gin and tonic. You mentioned gin and champagne, and somebody was asking, is there something else we can do with gin? Like, what are some of the creative ideas that you've got for us?
Okay, so obviously everyone's on lockdown, so you have to kind of use what's in your store cupboard. A lot of people don't actually like gin and tonic, and when they say they don't like gin, it's probably the tonic they don't like. So, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of tonic either. Sparkling water, if you just want to carbonate the drink and you want a long, tall drink, stick some carbonated water in there, some sparkling water. Lemonade works really well, or ginger beer works really well. So any kind of soft drink that you have, or even just juice, gin and juice works really well. So it's about looking at the keynotes in the gin and then trying to match it with kind of flavors that you've got in your soft drinks. Or ultimately, you could just have the martini, and the classic martini is just pure gin, no vermouth.
Well, I mean, that is definitely brave. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think some moms out there after lockdown might feel like they need just a straight gin. You know?
Yeah.
And we won't judge, that's for sure, because this is a sisterhood after all. All of us Bloom women, we're hanging out together and we're supporting one another. Thank you so much for that answer. We've got a couple of people who are asking where Bloom Gin is stocked, and I want to encourage you to please go to Bloom on Instagram, Bloom Gin, as well as on Facebook, and you can ask any direct questions there that you want to ask about Bloom Gin and stockists and where to find Bloom Gin. I've got a couple more questions that have come through. I just want to encourage you guys to please answer that whole question for us. And I've got a question here that came through, and this is, I can open this up to anybody who actually wants to answer. Jackie, maybe you can answer this for us. What is your opinion on wearing black to a wedding? Most of my fancy dresses are black, but heard people talking saying that it's disrespectful wearing black to a wedding. Now, I know how I would answer this question, but what's your opinion on this matter? And thank you so much, Rolanda, for the question.
Roxy and Rolanda, I'm sure it's the same answer as yours, Roxy. I have worn black to weddings often, and I've actually been a bridesmaid at a wedding where I've worn top to toe black. All the bridesmaids were in black. So I think that's maybe a thing of the past. I think black to a wedding is absolutely fine, especially an evening wedding where everyone's dressing smart. Not an issue for me at all. I must, on that note, I was once given some fantastic advice about wearing black, and it was actually from none other than Marianne Fassler, one of South Africa's best known fashion designers, where she said, if you are going to wear black from top to toe or with a white shirt only. Never combine color with black. She says it's the safest, most boring thing you can ever do. So for Rolanda, if you're going to a wedding, just do top to toe black. Don't be tempted to put a little pink top in there. It's too safe.
Listen, we listen to Marianne Fassler because she is an authority when it comes to fashion. So I completely agree. I actually had my bridesmaids wear black at my wedding, so I don't mind the black at all. I really don't mind the black at all. Just a correction, sorry, the Bloom Gin Essay on Instagram. So please go and follow Bloom Gin Essay on Instagram. You'll find it there. It's very easy to find. I want to thank everybody for joining us today, to all of our participants and to all of our speakers. Thank you so, so much. I'm very excited to share with you that on the 29th of April, we're going to have our next Live Full Bloom webinar. It's going to be amazing. I hope that you will join us once again and register online and do all the things that need to be done. And I wanted to just say a quick congratulations. We do have your details because you registered. To Karen Naylor, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Celeste Von G, I don't know quite how to say your surname, and Monique, thank you so much for your quick questions. We will find you. You are our winners of the 3 Bloom Gin hampers. So thank you so much for those questions. And thank you to everyone who sent through their questions. We tried to get through as many as we possibly could. So thank you. And from myself, I just wanted to say thank you so much. I think that we've encouraged, I think that we've inspired one another. I hope that this has made you smile. I hope that you've got all the tips you need to declutter your wardrobes and donate to Vintage with Love, so that we can live full bloom. I think that it's a time to introspectively look at our lives and to encourage one another and to be there for one another, because women who support women live in full bloom. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all again next time. Make sure you follow all those Instagram handles that we mentioned for the next updates, and we'll see you again on the 29th of April. Stay safe, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you.